Hello students, this lecture is about mechanism of urine formation. Mechanism of urine formation involves three events: glomerular filtration or ultrafiltration, selective reabsorption, tubular secretion. In the previous lecture, we talked about glomerular filtration, how glomerular filtrate is collected into the Bowman's capsule. So in this lecture, we'll be talking about selective reabsorption as well as tubular secretion. So fine. So here, in the glomerular filtration or ultrafiltration, so we have discussed that 180 liters of the glomerular filtrate is formed per day. In this 180 liters of glomerular filtrate, the final urine formed per day is 1.5 liters. That is, it's just 1% of the glomerular filtrate. So 99% of the glomerular filtrate is reabsorbed. Fine. So this is what you call selective reabsorption. Fine. So in this selective reabsorption, there are some substances like glucose, amino acids, and salts like sodium are reabsorbed passively, whereas urea, the nitrogenous waste materials, are absorbed passively, whereas water reabsorption occurs passively in the initial segments of nephron. So first event here is selective reabsorption. So let us study how exactly this occurs. So first let us have a brief idea about the nephron. So this part of the nephron is called Bowman's capsule. I am just making it as B capsule. This is Bowman's capsule, where ultrafiltration occurs, where entire glomerular filtrate is collected into this tubule. Now this part is called as PCT, that is the proximal convoluted tubule. Now this is the descending limb of Henle's loop, and this is the ascending limb of Henle's loop. So this is Henle's loop. So the hairpin bend of the Henle's loop. Now this part is the distal convoluted tubule and collecting tubule. Several collecting tubules will join and finally form collecting ducts. So let us find out in these tubular parts of the nephron how selective reabsorption of various substances and nutrients occur. So first it starts with proximal convoluted tubule. Fine. The walls of the proximal convoluted tubule are lined by brush border epithelium. So as a result, most of the glomerular filtrate, that is 70 to 80% of the glomerular filtrate, is reabsorbed from the PCT. So here I am using the term reabsorption. Absorption and reabsorption. Here we have to use the term reabsorption because already from the alimentary canal, the food, the nutrients are absorbed. Here once again, what are the blood that is supplied? From the blood, important nutrients and the substances which are required are reabsorbed. So here we have to use the term reabsorption. So first it starts with PCT. I said 70 to 80% of the glomerular filtrate is reabsorbed. So from PCT, there means 70 to 80% of the water and electrolytes like sodium chloride and bicarbonate ions are reabsorbed, and also most of the nutrients like glucose, amino acids, all are reabsorbed from the proximal convoluted tubule. Fine. All the way from proximal convoluted tubule, now the glomerular filtrate enters into Henle's loop. Henle's loop has two limbs, descending limb and ascending limb. So walls of the descending limb are permeable to water and almost all impermeable to electrolytes. So as a result, reabsorption of water occurs from descending limb. So from this filtrate, when the reabsorption of water occurs in the descending limb, slowly the concentration of the renal fluid increases and in the hairpin bend of the Henle's loop, the concentration of the renal fluid reaches to maximum, which is around 1200 milliosmoles per liter. So this is how maximum concentration of the renal fluid can be seen in the hairpin bend of Henle's loop. All the way, the renal fluid from the hairpin bend enters into ascending limb. Now, the walls of the ascending limb are impermeable to water, but are permeable to salts, that is electrolytes. So, reabsorption of salts like sodium chloride, other salts reabsorption, electrolytes reabsorption occurs, but there is no reabsorption of water in the ascending limb. So, as a result, only salts are reabsorbed and water is not absorbed from the ascending limb. The concentration of the renal fluid decreases all along its length from inner medulla to the outer medulla. So the glomerular filtrate, the renal fluid concentration in the ascending limb is hypotonic. So fine, in the descending limb, the concentration increases, it becomes hypotonic, and in the ascending limb, the concentration decreases because its membranes are impermeable to water, so it becomes hypotonic. So all the way, the renal fluid now enters into distal convoluted tubule. The walls of the distal convoluted tubule are permeable for both water as well as electrolytes. So reabsorption of water and electrolytes occur in the distal convoluted tubule, which is known as conditional reabsorption. This is what happens in the distal convoluted tubule, and all the way from the distal convoluted tubule, the renal fluid enters into collecting duct. Here also, major portion of the water reabsorption occur in the collecting tubule, where the water is reabsorbed from the collecting tubule and also electrolytes are reabsorbed from collecting tubule. Next, one more additional point here is, from the collecting tubule, a small amount of urea is absorbed into medullary interstitium to maintain osmolarity. So fine. So just look here, from the proximal convoluted tubule, water is reabsorbed, and in the descending limb, water is reabsorbed. Walls of the ascending limb are impermeable to water, and from the DCT, water is reabsorbed, and also in the collecting ducts, water is reabsorbed. So most of the reabsorption of the water occurs in all these parts of the nephron. So that's what ultimately we are calling it as 99% of the water is reabsorbed. So final urine formed will be just a tiny drop. So this is called selective reabsorption. Fine. And here in different parts of the nephron, tubular parts of the nephron, to maintain the ionic balance as well as osmotic balance, that means acid-base balance and ionic balance, to maintain it, tubular cells secrete H+, K+ and ammonia into the renal fluid. This is called as tubular secretion. So remember, tubular secretion is to maintain water and ionic balance, or I can say that it is acid-base balance. To maintain it, the secretion of the H+, K+ and ammonia into the renal fluid. This is what you call tubular secretion, or this can also be called as augmentation. So let us see in which parts of the nephron this secretion, tubular secretion or augmentation occurs. First we start with proximal convoluted tubule. Into the proximal convoluted tubule, secretion of H+, K+ and ammonia, right? And also to some extent bile salts are also reabsorbed. Next, bile salts are also secreted. Next, in the descending limb there is no secretion, and ascending limb will come back. Coming to your distal convoluted tubule, same secretion of H+ ions, secretion of K plus ions and secretion of ammonia occurs in the DCT, and into the collecting ducts secretion of H plus and K plus. So secretion of all these occurs in the PCT, DCT and collecting tubules to maintain ionic and acid base balance, right? Next, and also one more interesting point is from the into the lumen of ascending limb, small amount of urea is secreted. And what all this urea that is secreted in the ascending limb? So all the way this urea will be reabsorbed from the collecting ducts. So this is what the selective reabsorption and tubular secretion occurs in the nephron. So first the glomerular filtration, which is like glomerular filtrate is formed in the lumen of the Bowman's capsule. All the way when that glomerular filtrate keeps moving all along the length of the tubular part of the nephron, reabsorption of all these important substances occurred and secretion of H plus and K plus ammonia occurred. This is to maintain the ionic balance. So this is how the urine formation occurs.